everyone. I'm Ayushman, Regional Bureau Head at Entrepreneur India, and your moderator for this panel discussion on Gen AI for India, building for the next 500 million users. This is undoubtedly the most difficult panel as we are sitting behind the cliched you and lunch. So we'll try to make it interesting and short. Uh, India is often called the world's laboratory for scale because, as we all know, if we can test for India, we can build it for the world, right? So, as Gen AI evolves, the challenge before us is clear. How do we design AI that speaks our language, understands our culture, and delivers real impact on the ground? Right. So to dive deep into this, we have an esteemed panel, Mr. Harneet Singh from Rabbit AI. We have Kanhaiya Gautam from Lentra. We have Ganesh Sahai from Nagaro, and we have Gaurav from Avatar. I would like to start with Harneet. I know that I think Rabbit AI is a pure Gen AI company. And last year, I think you have started a suite of Gen AI tools to reshape the defense sector.
Yeah.
If you can just briefly talk about one interesting use case that you have built, and also telling us a line about what Rabbit AI actually does. So, Harneet, pull the rabbit out of the hat.
Okay. Thank you for this. First of all, I was dethroned and then I got a chance to speak first. Great, right? So universe plays the game. Same happened with us in defense. So I'm a 3th-generation military guy, the black sheep who went to IIT in my family. And somewhere universe conspired with my kind of 5th company. Rabbit AI is my 5th company and 4th successful company, God's grace, where we got a chance to work with defense, first with the South Korean Navy, and then our good country, great country, India realized, and then we also got a chance to work over here. If I jump to use case first and then talk about Rabbit AI, so when everybody was building LLMs and all, one of the things we realized that what are the sectors where intelligence is required but privacy is of utmost concern. And the 3 sectors we shortlisted were healthcare, education, and defense. That's where defense you can't enter. So we were very lucky. We got a chance to work with South Korean Navy on improving their vision language models, and this was 2023, much before even Llama's vision model was released. And these guys had an idea that you have to come work for us and you need to improve the vision language models to detect the naval mines so that they don't need to send soldiers in underwater submarines, right? Very big ask. So we're like, why don't you hire a Microsoft or a Google for this? The only reason they could not hire a Microsoft or Google for this because they are Microsoft and Google. And that's where we came up with the concept of Rabbit AI, that in the world of AI, big is no longer beautiful, small is soothing. And we named the company as Rabbit AI. That was kind of our first project, first profitable project. And coming to the use case, so what we built for them and then what we built in the defense sector is, we have a lot of signals receiving from various angles. So let's say if we talk of army, in terrains, you are receiving sonar, radar, and a lot of other drone signals, camera surveillance, and other sensors data which is over there. The challenge was, can we convert this into natural language or understandable language for LLMs and then have an in-house LLM to make sense of all that data within few milliseconds and talk like a experienced army general or military general. That was the use case. So not content generation, which is typically the use case, not video generation and stuff like that. But here we identified the problem that we need a mechanism from hardware to LLM, something in between. So we built our own classifier models given to the defense, which can annotate or kind of understand these 12 different data signals, convert it into understandable human language. Finally, the general can query, basis the drone data and thousands of responses, what is happening in this particular area. And it can automatically then signal alerts and surveillance and threat mitigation and protection areas. And for this particular initiative, I was also awarded the DRDO Medal of Honor last year by Government of India. And then we continue to work in the defense sector with this.
Great. Kanaya, next, can you briefly give your opening remarks on how Lentra is transforming the digital lending space?
Our success story was on the back of the digitalization push that we started getting between 2012 roughly to 2015. So a lot of changes happened then. A lot of, I would say, liberalization of digital infrastructure happened, and we as citizens, a lot of consent came. We also agreed that hey, you need to give some to get something better. So I myself and Lentra, we belong to the fintech background, and we had a dream which we have partly or almost we are there. One was 100% digitalized. How do you achieve that? So for that, how do you go paperless? How do you become presence-less so that by sitting in your office or the comfort of your home, you are not bereft of the immense credit that is there in the country, be it a personal loan, a house loan, or even an unsecured loan. So gone are the days wherein you have a very complicated process of hypothecation to even get the simplest of loans, because until unless there is money, and if the money doesn't rotate, the nation doesn't grow. Uh, Fine, there would be some bad apples, but that happens, and it's a law of the nature. So the way we started our journey was with this native dream of ours to digitalize the entire ecosystem end to end of lending. So the way we vision onboarding, the way we vision fraud, the way we vision the operational side of things is where Lentra as a fintech startup has added a lot of value. So, having conversational, adaptive, and adaptive journeys, onboarding journeys, then having intelligent document processing based on various small models orchestrated by an LLM to do various different kinds of fraud checks, right up to tampering of documents, so on and so forth. And the entire ecosystem around operations on verifying those documents, right up to disbursements, is where we as a fintech we have added value in these many years, and the numbers speak. So the GTM for a financial institution to go live for any lending journey is in weeks now, not in months or years. So
Okay, great. Ganesh, if you can just talk about it, if you can just tell our audience what Nagaro does, and also share, how you have used AI, Gen AI, to solve some of the real world problems.
Sure, sure. So, Nagaro is a global software services company founded in 1996, and we cater to some of the leading Fortune 500 companies. We are a $1 billion companies with around 17,000 people across the world in 39 locations. So, we have been working on artificial intelligence even before it became a buzzword. Earlier we were working with foundational models, right, or very specific models which could solve real life problem for our customers, and we did very good job at it. It's just that when Gen AI came and the LLMs came, the way to build solutions drastically changed, and now we have plethora of these models with different capabilities. So the art of solutioning has taken a very different turn now, and a very interesting turn. So we are working with a lot of our customers on a lot of use cases to make them do it more intelligently, and our approach towards customers is what we tag it as fluidic intelligence. So that's what our approach is. Yeah.
Great, great. Uh, Gaurav, as someone who is focused on building 3D immersive experiences, give us an example of how you plan to reach the next 500 million users in India.
Thanks, Ayushman. First of all, good afternoon, everyone. So maybe I'll give you a little bit of backdrop about
Sure.
Avatar and then get into your exact question. So Avatar is a decade-old AI company. As Ganesh was also mentioning, we got into AI much before it became the buzz in the town. At Avatar, we don't see AI as another tool. It's more of a living system that helps you make better decisions, achieve better outcomes. We have been helping enterprises for majority of our journey to automate their workflows, reduce their costs, improve their valuation. We have been backed by Tiger Global and Sequoia, and just about last week we got selected into India AI mission as well to build foundational models for India. And that's where I'll kind of to divert to your question, because building for the next 500 million users, uh, I think the most important segment in that is agriculture. Agriculture has 45% plus of our employment today in India. And when we are thinking of building something big for the next 500 or billion users, we cannot disregard that. And one use case that we developed at Avatar, which is very close to my heart as well, is a plant disease prediction model. So we have built a proprietary distillation framework where we bring in a smaller model, like 4 billion, 8 billion, 14 billion parameters, and train that using fine-tuning and reinforcement learning to act as good as the teacher model, which being a generic LLM, a GPT or a Claude. So in the space of agriculture, we build this small 4 billion parameter model for detecting the plant disease. Now, just think of the use case where a farmer in Maharashtra wants to know about the state of its tomato crop. And with our model, they can put in a voice query. They can put in an image of their plant. And instead of having to go to an ergonomist and put in all the efforts, our model will then and there tell them in terms of if there is any disease like a late blight in that tomato crop. And beyond just detecting the disease, also the steps to cure it. And it does all of this 4 billion smaller model does all of that at the same accuracy level as a GPT-4 or O4 Mini, I mean, at the time when we launched, but at a fraction of their cost, which makes it way more accessible to the next 500 million users when you think of it.
Great. Next question to Harneet. Which other sectors where you see the fastest adoption of Gen AI, so to say, which other laggards in the industry, and so which other sectors that you're really betting on to touch the 500 million?
Okay, very interesting question. I guess we should go with Maslow's hierarchy theory, needs theory. So roti, kapda, makan, right? And I'll say education also, and then healthcare. That's the basic needs. So we see the largest adoption, luckily, fortunately, is in the education sector in the country. And one of the reason is quickest way to look at that is sanity check is how many kids are using AI tools, not just ChatGPT, Perplexity, but a lot of other tools. So we analyzed that at Rabbit AI after doing a lot of work in UK and Australia. We said what we can do for India. One of the problems we wanted to target is rote learning and cramming. Why that's a problem and why that could not be solved so far and how it can be solved with GenAI, I'll present in one line. See, if you can bring back the Gurukul system, you need 1:1 teacher to student ratio. But with the current standards, population and all, that is not practically possible. You cannot have a tutor or teacher train a guy or girl to learn maths, science or coding, which I believe are the fundamentals of STEM. So we said, can AI help in doing that? And can we touch the next 500 million users with this? So we started building at Rabbit AI. We opened up another not-for-profit arm of ours, which is Rabbit Learning, specifically focused for India. This we started 2 years back. And we built tools, Bunny AI series of models, our own SLM models, which are fine-tuned for various educational use cases. On more than they are upwards of like 70 million to, close to 100 million parameter models, which understand the subject knowledge really well, pedagogy, instructional design, and all that stuff. So what that means is now a kid sitting in a rural Kochi and a kid sitting in a metro city can have same level of access when they're trying to learn coding, maths, or science. So it just analyzes your handwriting, your answer, your solution, either through an uploaded PDF or your recorded interview, which you talk to the tool, and it can generate a personalized learning plan for you. And we've seen the adoption of this as the most. Of course, a lot of people are using it to solve their problems as a shortcut to assignments and all, but we see enough number of people and teachers and trainers using it to create relevant course material, personalized learning, personalized course material. And with this Gen AI thing, we see personalized learning can be actually achieved at scale. So this is one area. And the best thing is, see, unlike other technologies where you are just switching between various question types or content types and giving it and calling it an adaptive thing. Like GMAT or GRE was saying from 5-7 years, they are adaptive. But the adaptive is nothing. If you're able to answer easy questions, they'll give you a tough question. If you're not able to answer tough questions, they'll give you an easy question. It's a basic switch loop which they have put in the code. Nothing, magical in that. But with GenAI, I can actually understand the person in front, customize what I'm speaking. For example, you ask me a defense question, I'm speaking about defense. Another question, 500 million users can't touch with defense, I'm speaking about education, right? I can fine tune the answers. This capability, this intelligence layer is there with the AI, and it is actually acting as a tutor.
Sure.
And then next layer, we are trying to convert it into vernacular languages as well, and that's where me and Gaurav are also talking, that how to make it even more scalable for the kids of the country.
Okay.
That's one area.
Thanks. Kanaya, so since yours is healthcare, I mean in the money lending space, so that is your sector is quite clear. But if you had to pick one barrier to full-scale adoption of Gen AI, is it language, trust, cost, or awareness? What would that be?
Let me cover each and then I'll tell very quickly and then I'll pick one. Awareness, a lot of awareness is there. Even a kid with a mobile knows, as he said, what to do, and that's the main conundrum. AI say seekhna hai. AI is not a substitute for your brain or your knowledge. So I think that's the nuance which everyone has to understand. Trust eventually comes with adoption. For adoption, what you need is, and we have spoken about the vernacular part of things, is how you touch the lives of all 140 or 50 or 1.4, 1.5 billion people, citizens of the country, is by covering the length and breadth. Now, how do you do that? So for that, the localization and hyper localization has to be there. In my opinion, all the models that we have that are, they are very bespoke and are applicable to mature verticals, like defense is one, BFSI is one, then we have other verticals. They are very curated, bespoke and mature. We exactly know what we need to do. But for example, agar farmer ko prescriptively batana hai, boss, in this Rabi season or in this Kharif season, this is what you should be doing. That has to be in a way, in a layman's language that the person understands. Just an engine throwing something and telling, hey, you should grow tomatoes or potatoes or rice or ye, doesn't cut it. It should cover, okay, last 2, 3, 5 years, what you have done, what is the future, what's the quality of your soil, what's the weather gonna be like, the rainfall gonna be like, in a manner that he or she understands. So for me, that localization is very, very important, which is where the main set of challenges which I currently see is, we have big, big corporates. They have the full might of infrastructure, manpower and data. And then we have startups like us, who have that AI tilt in them. I won't call the brains, but the AI tilt to kind of not, and I won't use the word monetize, but to make proper ethical use of that data for nation building, not for anything else. And academia, which has to focus and tie the real world problems by collaborating with the corporates and the startups. So this is my dream also, to kind of see more and more traction and engagement happening here, because we as technocrats and leaders will always worry about our own areas, our own bottom lines, OPEX, CAPEX, top line. So there's no end to that. In a business, you have to ensure that you're growing. Language is something, the localization and ensuring that farmer in Maharashtra versus a farmer in Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, or Punjab, or UP, they exactly understand. And from there, there are a lot of such also small and medium enterprises who maybe are not so big on English. So if you ask me at this point, economies at scale will work once adoption comes. For adoption, awareness is there. See, very small things that someone needs to find out, they can do it. But for driving all these three things, the language barrier and that localization has to be there.
Sure. Okay. Ganesh, Nagaro, you have multiple clients across the globe. So, what is the key challenge that you have seen, in terms of full-scale adoption of GenAI?
So I think a key challenge, but before I go to key challenge, I would like to add to what Harneet said, and it reminded me of a very interesting movie. I saw it again a few days back. Was Dasmi, right? And how basically this person who's trying to go for 10th examination takes help of different tutors, but they understand this guy doesn't understand the normal academic. Structure or the terms, so they kind of basically try to speak in his lingo, right, or the context that he understands. So probably you will have something of that sort going forward, right? But thank you so much sharing that. Coming back to the challenges, one of the biggest challenges identification of the use cases, right? Uh, it's a new technology, it's a disruptive technology. It's like you have a solution, you're trying to find the problem kind of a scenario, all right? But slowly and gradually people, as they learn about this new technology, they're trying to get a sense of where it fits in, right? So as an example, I use a multi-agent system to track my project's performances, and one of the things that I use LLMs was to establish the correlation of different project metrics and identify the causal relationships and what the next steps could be for the project manager. And it's so interesting that when I applied this, there are such interesting insights that come, and it helps the project managers. So that's the first one, right? Identification of the right use cases. And second is basically the right kind of solutioning which fits in over there, right? The other one is around the whole legality and the intellectual property and data privacy, right? People are yet very skeptical about deploying AI based solutions in production. They are very happy to do in POC, and as the MIT report also said, 95% of the projects are just POC, which is fair. And one of the reasons that I see personally working with the customers is around this area, right? That what could be the ramification of it? What are the legacy? Will somebody sue me for something, right? There's a lot of clarity that has to build, and the whole technology of guardrails is still at a very very basic state actually right now. So there's a lot that has to be worked over there. So these are some of the things. Yeah.
Gaurav? Yeah.
Uh, Maybe to answer that point, Ayushman, I'll first quote a recent report that I read from KPMG. They had actually talked to IT professionals, and 90% of the IT professionals were uh, happy with the AI systems in their org. And when the same, and like not just happy, they were also trusting these systems. And when the same question was posed to general public, only 38% of the general public were trusting the AI solutions that they were using. So from my perspective, trust is the biggest factor for AI to scale globally. Uh, and when I see trust, I actually see it across four different pillars. First, I would say is reliability, that the answer that the AI is giving me, is it reliable enough? Can I rely and act upon it? Because if I can't act upon it and if I have to go and cross check everything, then AI is not good enough. Second, I would say is fairness, that there are no inherent biasness in that model that I'm using. So otherwise, I'll end up making, even though the AI was correct, end up making an incorrect decision because the answer may have been suited as I and Harneet were also speaking, like if it's built for Oman as a country, and if I try to apply that in India, it may not work that well. Third, I would say security, which every enterprise that I have worked with has a concern, right? How will my data be used? Can it get into the hands of a competitor who can also leverage this? Can I keep it protected within my environment? So security and privacy becomes the third pillar. And the fourth and the most important one from a general consumer perspective is the explainability of that solution that AI gives. Especially, let's say we work a lot in healthcare. So if I'm working with a doctor and kind of summarizing the patient history, the doctor has to have that reasoning to know that if AI is saying something, what is the thought process behind it? If the doctor cannot know the thought process, it cannot just rely on the data. So those four pillars kind of make trust the most important aspect for me in terms of adoption of AI.
Just a quick
Yeah,
thing.
sure.
Yeah. So apart from these trends, one positive thing which I want to highlight, which I have also just seen in past 6 months. So as you are aware, we were talking about Bharatiya Yatra, which I am conducting. So in that 6 months back, I was also called to an interview where when minister said that, honorable minister said that Indian startups have a fancy ice cream problem, which is true. We are not working in deep tech that much. But I'll tell you the positive side of the story, what I have seen personally after traveling to tier 2, tier 3 India. GenAI has given the power to the lower middle class guy and middle class guy and a salaried, bounded guy to actually take that leap and start their company. And I'll tell you the analogy. What used to happen, US, prima facie, right, was controlling the funds, and they had the funds, and people with funds will have the ideas. That's very simple, right? And they deployed those funds to hire smart Indians or Vietnamese or Filipinos, right? But Indians in major quantity, and we were aspiring to earn that money first and then do something we love. So this was the entire theory of past 40 years. That's how India's IT industry was born. But I am very hopeful that today you don't require that much talent or resources to start a company. If I give a very simple example, I'm personally mentoring few startups which have been started in less than 20K seed capital. This was not possible in less than 10 lakhs before, 3 years. So I guess the kind of things which I am seeing right now, that GenAI for Bharat is giving a lot of power in the hands of common man to actually start their company, grow their business, take their business online and stuff like that, which is a very, very positive thing. So with consumers, I guess India can also have the largest builders in the next 10, 20 years. And we as professionals can enable that in very big way. So that is a
Absolutely.
positive thing.
Absolutely. Since you already have the mic, Harneet, let's. I would like to ask the last thing to you. We'll start from you. So, if Gen AI could solve one problem for Bharat, what would you want that to be?
Very philosophical answer, but I guess it should give confidence in the grassroots level people so that they start building and stop complaining. And it can do that. Because with GenAI, you have those powers. You can build your own app and solve a particular city problem rather than just asking the government or media to do that. So I guess it can help users or consumers of India, citizens of India, apply their minds in the best possible manner. So one word answer is confidence. It can give us that confidence that we can build world class and we can sell world class.
Kanaya, what's your take on that?
Very similar. We have to be the local builders
Right.
and then become global. So time has come to shift the paradigm rather than westwards looking. We should introspect and be builders and trust on our talent, have full confidence on it. Because until unless we haven't built something, the security, the confidence, the bias, you don't know how it will react. So you have to build something. See, if you construct a tower, you'll know, okay, what its lifespan will be, what kind of materials have we used, which vendors and contractors were involved, so on and so forth. But if it's something which is alien and external to you, you've gotten that model from someone, there's nothing really that you can do to put in the guardrails, because there are variety of ways to put in the guardrails and guarantee. I won't say, let's not use the word guarantee so loosely, but at least ensure there is some sanity and security and understanding on how the engine is supposed to behave, is so that hyper localization, again, my point and my kind of suggestion and advice to whichever discussions I go, apart from technology, is let's become the local builders. Let's curate and make bespoke models by taking some as foundation, which suit our need and our real world challenges. Because what our nation's challenges are may not be what West has. So that paradigm has to shift. We have to become local builders.
Okay. Ganesh, briefly.
Yeah, briefly, it's education and innovation.
Okay.
And if you have to make a building, the foundation has to be very strong. So I think we should use generative AI for making our education really very powerful, and also enable people to innovate better. And the next transformer architecture in AI should be coming from India.
Gaurav?
Well, two aspects. First one, I feel it should make all of us superhumans. We have already seen AI bring in a lot more productivity, like in domains like coding, where today our coders are 3x productive. In domains like marketing and content, where it has made them 10x more productive. I would love to see AI to get into each of these domains, different tasks, and make all of us superhumans to add to what Kanaya and Harneet were also saying in terms of lot more startup entrepreneurs coming in, people having that confidence and capability to build of their own using AI tools. And second, I would love to see AI taking us back to our roots. Again, adding something to what was mentioned earlier by Harneet and the Gurukul system, right? The Vedas in India, I think we have lost that connection to our roots over the course of years and centuries. I want, and I'd see AI as a great medium for that to take us back to those roots and kind of leverage the potential that we have as Indians.